Ladies and
Cool.
gentlemen, it's another box of dogs.
Woof, woof, mate. We can talk about it. Welcome to the cool episode, the return to cool.
Yeah, but I know what'll make you feel better.
Oh, no, not another box of dogs.
It's another box of dogs!
Return to cool, yeah. Rebirth.
My hand has got stuff in it. It's an absolute disaster. I look like the doc off Welcome Back to the Future. So I've had to fill it with chemicals and fucking layer it back so it doesn't save me. But
Yeah.
I look like a French film director. So
I'm jealous of
You do look more like an auteur of some kind. Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Good.
I made my first film in around 1935. It was all self-funded through male prostitution that I used to do. Not full sex, as you would say in England, but it was the 30s, and we were a creative group, and we really wanted to bring French cinema out of just this sort of artistic underground, and perhaps display it to the world. Here's my Starbucks cup from Washington DC that I found with that obelisk on it.
Oh shit!
Oh, nice.
There you go.
There you go. Starbucks
from Starbucks. Holy shit!
I got it. No, I didn't go to Starbucks. I bought it from the charity shop for like 50p. But anyway, welcome. But where have you been, Mr. Scott? And hello, Mr. Harvey. Is it?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I should introduce you. Steve, this is my friend Harvey Poppington.
It's great to meet you, Steve. It's
Harvey,
actually
this is my friend Steve.
I'm a
You too,
massive
brother.
fan
I'll
of
put these
yours
on.
for years, so.
Actually, no, I look like a French film director.
Now we've got. Now it's the intellectual episode.
Yeah, I think do the whole thing with the French accent. I like it.
Well, it's great to be back on Box of Dogs. I've been living in Wales, so I've got with a guy who has dogs, who lives with dogs, and
Does he keep them in a box?
country people love dogs. They think, because if you don't like dogs, they think you hate dogs. So I don't hate dogs. It's just I've never been a fucking pet guy.
You don't like dogs? Something
if I wanted to live in a zoo, I'd have become Diane Fossey. Mind you, I've got about 20 minutes on dogs now. Actually, Rich, the guy I live with, shout out to Richie. He likes the Box of Dogs.
Oh, sweet.
And
Just dog material as well.
Well, I wrote some good jokes, actually. They go, "Oh, come on, Steve. It's man's best friend." Okay, your best friend, perhaps. See, my best friends can read. Have conversations, make lasagna, don't eat their own shit.
That's a good point.
There's a whole wave of women coming out who dogs are their best friends as well. It gets quite twisted and weird on Twitter and all over the place. There's this whole.
Well, I guess once you've battered men into being sexual predators and toxic scumbags for 20 years, and now you can't get a boyfriend, you go, well, maybe I better get a dog.
Better rescue a boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I found this one at the fucking pound.
He had his shot.
So where have you been, Scott? Venturing around?
Been wandering between Mildura and Melbourne quite a lot. Comedy festivals just started here, so I'm kind of wandering back and forth. I'm still moving house, still in the process of moving house. So just I keep coming to Melbourne for various reasons. My brother's funeral was the latest one. That was pretty horrible, but yeah. So I'm to the winds at the moment. You can probably tell my mind is quite to the winds as well.
I can tell there's a definite change. I mean, the winds of change, as the Scorpions sang.
And
And when you said you've been wandering between Melbourne and Mildura, I thought, what, just wandering, just in that hat?
I just seem to keep fucking. I wake up one day and I'm in Mildura, and then I wake up the next day and I'm in Melbourne, and I'm constantly going, what am I doing now? Why am I here? But it's, you know, it's usually to do something. There's some reason that I'm doing these things. I just I don't know. I've been floating, you know, like I've kind of given up on caring about a lot of stuff because I just had to retire, like, from Twitter and all this stuff where it's just people are yelling at people to wake up and all this kind of stuff, and I'm just kind of going, I don't think they want to wake up, dude.
Leave them alone.
Yeah, let sleeping dogs lie. Yeah,
man. I mean, what are you going to do? You know, like,
it's a hard ask to get people to wake up. You know, like it's
a big ask, man.
It is.
It's a big ask, you know.
Well, how long have you been doing it for, Steve? I don't know why you're not tired of it. We don't even try that hard to wake people up, really, to be honest.
Oh, no, either do I. I mean, I never went in. So you see some of these young comedians sometimes they think, the first mistake they make if they want to be a controversial comedian, as they fucking tag you with, is one, they think, well, we go out there and shock the audience. No, I don't have any intention of shocking the audience. I didn't know it was shocking, was it? Reality? Apparently it is. But and also, you know, no, it's not my job. I mean, that's the problem with PC people. They've taken it on board through their programming that they've got a job now to save fucking sections of humanity with a strategy that has no basis in reality, and also just they don't even have an end game. Well, we don't like racists. Well, what are you going to do? Get rid of them all? Like when is this your end game? When are you finished? When do we? Or when the last? We fixed the last one.
We finally did it. We can now rest.
Yeah, we can now rest, and everything's much better. And how did you fix them? Oh, we put them in prison.
Hey, it seemed decapitation ended up working really well. What do you know? The guillotine.
Like it's so, you know, this whole idea of you know, they're not interested. It's like trying to wake me up to being interested in fucking football. You can sit there all day and go, come on, Steve, it's great, mate. The way they run down the thing and do this, and I just be going, is it? Come on, Steve, wake up. No, I don't want to. Yeah, you know, I understand, especially if there's a young, if there's a lot of people who have only got onto this information in the last year or two. I know what happens when you first become a conspiracy theorist. You run around like you fuck with your hair on fire. Have you seen this? That's the first step, isn't it? Then you go, okay, hang on, calm down, and then you realise, hey, maybe tons of the stuff I've been reading is fucking bullshit too, right? Because you don't think that there's mischief going on in this world? Of course there is. This is the net set up, like sex and drugs and rock and roll, to catch the people who didn't get caught by the mainstream net.
Yeah,
you know. So there's some truth in there, but also, you know, it's going to be infiltrated on one level because everything's fucking infiltrated because you live in an internationalist, tentacled fucking world that's even infiltrating your fucking thoughts now in your house when you talk about a mattress and then a mattress ad turns up on your fucking thing. So, you know.
Oh, you're getting the mattress ads too, are you? Yeah, I'm getting those. Mattress
so
and food, that's all I get.
So then you go, okay, this is my process anyway, you know, up to an individual, whatever their thing is. But then I started to question myself, okay, what programming and beliefs do I have already in me which is drawing me to just believe this stuff? Do you know what I mean? So what's in me that's drawing me to certain information, which, well, some of this information, which could be disinformation, could trigger something in me which gives me settle something in me unconsciously. So I find it easier to gravitate towards something I'll just claim as truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then you have to do self-investigation. That's why all the hardcore conspiracy theorists I know have been doing it for decades and decades. They all end up in spirituality.
Yeah.
Yeah. It always
because
ends in the same place.
Because they suddenly realize that, guess what? Well, the whole fucking system is also set up in spirituality, occultism and metaphysics, and
Yeah.
it's right. So you have to start to understand that the matrix is not out there. The matrix is in here. Because they've got you programmed. So now you manifest the outside matrix, or at least help keep it intact. So this is the big thing when we're talking about waking people up. Is we've probably discussed in Box of Dogs millions of fucking times. They're like, I mean, Scott have had these conversations. They're these beliefs that sit within the collective. They become a reality, don't they? Everyone goes, oh, they went to the moon. We've talked about this before. And then we'll sort of see now if everyone goes, oh, they went to the moon in 1960. Because I used to believe it. I didn't think anything of it. I was just a guy, and that's what happened in the 60s, and you heard about it. There's a lunar module and one small step for mankind. Well, I didn't care. I was listening to Motley Crue and Iron Maiden. I dreamed of it being in a band, and that just sat in your world, didn't it?
Yeah.
So now it's just a reality. Oh, well, they went to the moon in 1969, and there was this thing, and but suddenly you realize, well, did they? But most people go, yeah, well, because it's just a big thing that now sits there. So that creates a reality, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or it could be bullshit.
We had to go.
So we all have these big paradigms, like the doctor. We have ones about doctors. We've discussed this before. This is a big one now because you're sort of merging into a medical tyranny. So doctors are a big one. They've always got to have a picture of them with a white coat and a stethoscope. You've seen sitcoms all your life where the girlfriend comes home with a guy, and all the other girlfriend, he's a doctor. Is he a doctor? Is he a doctor? And the mum likes him because he's a doctor, and they even use doctors to facilitate a status on the whole empire. I had to go to Oxford to study. I was an Indian chap, but I went to Oxford to study. What, you couldn't learn medicine in fucking India? So there's even that status which goes into the world of programming, that goes into the world of how you would subconsciously view things with status.
Yeah.
And so. Whereas, I've got a friend of mine at the moment. Shout out to her. I was just talking to her. She's trying to, coming down off the psych meds, mate. Trying to get off the psych meds. It's going to be a long journey. And as I said to her today, I bet not one of those ones that put you on them has ever suggested, right, we'll get you on them to try and stabilize you, and then we'll try and see what's going on with your diet. Do you drink? What are your genetics like? Should we do a blood test? Let's see what. So I would cut out sugar, wheat, booze, this, why? Because our goal is to not have you on these fucking things. But that's not their goal. Their goal is to fucking have you on them and stay on them.
Keep you on them for as long as possible.
Because they'll just tell you that, how do you get off them? Oh, you just wean them down for 2 weeks. You're frozen. We're going to come back in a second.
Really?
Yeah. Your pictures are frozen. Maybe it's just a little bug that's come in because we started to talk about it.
That's what it is. It's the goddamn matrix. The goddamn matrix keeps attacking us every time every time we touch on something.
So we're going back to, are we got enough trick? No, waking up. The doctors is a big one to wake up. Oh, the doctor wouldn't do anything to hurt you. Your mum said that. So when really, you want your average person to wake up, you should be yelling at doctors to wake up. You subconsciously put them on a status. Sometimes when they do these things, our next guest, and he's a qualified student of Harvard University. Oh, great! I'll stop listening to him.
He's thoroughly indoctrinated.
Yeah. He's gone.
I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with your scientist or your fucking thing. And it's not like I don't listen to any of them. They're all dickheads. That's not the point. That's not the fucking point.
You've got to be impressed with their tolerance for lasting 6 years at a university.
That's true.
Oh, so what's funny is they're the ones who are more, to me, most people they're the experts. No, they're the ones that are more brainwashed than you.
Yeah.
Mm.
They've
Yeah,
been in the program.
like-
The
You know,
the definition of professor is interesting to look up. It's just someone who professes a particular belief, and these are the professors. So it doesn't mean they're right because they're a professor. It just means they profess a particular belief and they will impart that onto you. They'll hand you a filter. We kind of we adopt our own filters. We just go slip a filter on and go, this will do me for a while.
this will do me for a while. I can
Yeah.
rock around. And of course, these filters are valid because, the strange thing is this is what these PC people rally against. Everything's just subjective. Reality is what's ever inside your brain. All right. So you don't want to fall into that trap either, right? Because, so it's a big psychological fucking quagmire out there. If you don't know what's going on, I can understand why some people wake up because they don't know how to. Because if you don't have any information, we've discussed this before. Sure, the mind can only grab onto things that it can generate from its knowledge base, kind of, unless you're using the imagination to create whatever you want, right? But so if you've just been, we've just said this before at times, I hope we're not repeating ourselves too much, but if you just spent your life, I know friends who've never read a conspiracy, they haven't thought about it. They've got married twice, had kids, watch footy, go to work. They're not horrible, dumb people, but they just don't know it. But then sometimes when you say, what do you think's going on, Steve? And then you say it from your background knowledge, and they say things like, no, I don't think that's it. But they haven't got any background of knowledge to come back with you. You don't know that. So then they go, okay, you tell me what's happening. And most of the time it just comes out of the mainstream, or they're now grappling with why would the PC and they got their mind's got nowhere to go.
So what do you think?
It'd be like ringing me up and asking me to give my discussions on the World Cup.
Yeah.
My mind's got no experience to know what to say about. I don't know whether that was a good kick down the side. I guess if it went in the fucking posts and everyone cheered, that fucking turned out all right. But I don't know the little niche nuances of footy like a guy that's fucking watching it with a eagle eye and understands all the skill and the fuck. You see how he did that?
Yeah. There's nothing to grasp.
No, there's nothing for my mind to wrap around to have an opinion.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just and why they don't wake up, because a lot of these we're talking about before, paradigms about either moon landings or fucking history or doctors or governments or tax or legalities. Well, they as we said, they foster the foundational belief system of their reality that they navigate through. So if you start wanting to demolish them all, where do they fall into? I've had 25 years, and plus most of the people I know, they go, when did you get into this stuff? Well, most of the people I ever know who got into this kind of stuff, they just kind of did instinctively. So,
yeah.
What is the difference between someone who does and someone who doesn't?
Well, I mean, just in the sense of, some people may be very, obviously we've heard of people who are very rational, logical, scientific thinking like things, who have epiphanies and turned into fucking hippies. Right? But I always had this kind of knew that this is not it. If someone said, "Oh, I reckon we can walk through walls," I've always had the mind that went, "Yeah, I reckon."
Why not? The atoms fit.
Like you've got an imagination. You thought you could walk through. There must be something in the universe that scientists have come up and said, it's just vibration going like this, haven't they? Right. So obviously, if they're telling you that it's just fucking molecules or something vibrating at such a frequency that they cause solidity, well, really, it's not solid. They've said that, haven't they? So really, there could be a way that you could then. that doesn't seem wacky to me. Whereas that some people immediately their brain shuts it off.
Yeah.
And just goes, "That'd be stupid." Yeah. You've seen it a million times. It just. I used to notice that my whole life. With some people, I realized their brain just went zoom. It was like watching a gate just go zoom, and they haven't even pondered it.
Yeah.
which was very always strange to me. Like, I think they tricked us, you know, when they say things like, oh, it's just all in your imagination. So they tricked everybody. They inverted it, like they invert everything. With the tone of that sentence, they told you the truth. It's all in your imagination.
Mm. But that's, I heard a terrific, someone
right?
put it,
But they inverted it, tricked you, and thought, oh, it's not really real. It just got no power. It's just in my imagination. No, they told you the truth.
mm,
Because they have to tell you the truth. So they told you the truth. It's all in your imagination. They gave you a secret there, right? But they just did it in a way that you went, oh, yeah, it's not real.
yeah.
So therefore, you know, they didn't do nothing to you. You did it to yourself. You acquiesced to the idea, the belief, the program that was put in you. So
I heard a great thing. I can't remember where I heard it, but it's the best tuition is intuition. So that's what a lot of it comes down to. You like, there's sometimes you come across a piece of knowledge or something or a belief, and it just fits right. It just feels right, and there's something that tells you, you know, yeah, this is worth holding on to. Whereas other things, it just has no, like you can't relate to it in a sense. It's like trying to hold on to air or something. It just doesn't have anything to bind.
like it doesn't have a soul relation with you.
Yeah,
like
that's it.
and and I think we've all been so misguided that we don't have a basis in true reality of our soul and stuff. So we don't make decisions which benefit that side of our existence.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Which is what science locks you into. What a materialist flatland of objects.
I thought of something,
You know,
with science just recently that like they kind of come at this thing. They come at the whole thing like, well, if I can't see it and measure it and sense it, then it doesn't exist. And you say, well, what about other dimensions? Can you see and measure? And well, no, we can't. Well, do they exist? Well, yeah, they do. Like there's this.
yeah, but they've always said that one. You can do that with love. Well, you know,
Yeah.
do you love your wife? Yeah. Have you seen the love for your wife? Or besides, you know, when you got her from behind or you bought her some flowers? Like a crude description of a relationship, but I'm no expert. But
I must love her. I bent her over a pool table last night. I mean, I don't understand what else you want.
If that's not love, I don't know what is.
yeah, and I got brown ball corner pocket. Just I don't know whose ball it was, what I was doing there. But...
Yeah.
But, you know, so yeah, going back to where we got onto this topic, folks, waking people up. Yeah, so maybe, you know, you can't, they do it on their own. They do it, maybe their soul's journey is not to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I met a woman, you know, lots of people going, oh, you went and took the whatnot and so forth. But I met a woman I know in Ireland who goes, well, some of these souls have come back to make these big mistakes, to evolve.
Yeah.
See, that's another perspective. I don't know if it's true. I'm just saying, I listened to a woman who's fucking sits in the Irish woods on mushrooms a lot, and she's fucking sort of, you know, says things come to me, and so some of these souls have spoken out and said, well, you know, they've come to go to the deepest depths. Because when, you know, they've said a lot, when you go to the deepest depths, when do you come up? When you come up into the parallel of the depth you've gone to, which is why when you have a big life, you can have a bigger fall.
Yeah.
You know, if your life's just pretty status quo, I've got my girlfriend, I'll walk around the neighborhood, I've got a dog, I go to work. Well, you may have a bad time in life like everybody, but it's not going to be as bad a time as a guy who tried to climb Everest and or be an Olympian and lost by 1 second after 5 years of getting up at 6 in the morning and fucking running 100. And then that fall from that achievement will balance the achievement.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So, because life puts balance into things, which is why you don't wake up in the status quo.
Yeah.
Because your highs and your lows are like this, right? Whereas, you know, that's why you want someone who used to take heroin to help you get off heroin. Why? Because he's been down here and it's probably come back up here.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the funny judgment call we have upon people whose lives apparently fall apart. You know, they're fucking mental or they're drunks, all of that. But some people who've gone through the worst things become the brightest stars. You know, because you know, if your life's just this, well,
yeah.
I mean, when I fall, you know, I fell fucking big. My mate, when I went back, I was having a massive breakdown. I said to one of my mates, old mates I've known for fucking decades, I go, he just goes, I knew you'd have a breakdown. I go, why is that? He goes, because you haven't stopped since the 80s. He was kind of right, you know, just bands, comedy, countries, touring, drugs, fucking not just when we were in the comedy circuit here for about a decade, it was like a fucking energy. We just gigged every fucking time we could, and everyone was just gigging. It was just there was fucking touring and just more gigs and fucking drugs, and it was just fucking pumping everyone along like a fucking roller coaster, you know.
It must have been nice.
In hindsight, when you were there, but in hindsight, you realize, God, it was this fucking big energetic force going on, something. So, you know, I had been touring, and, you know, which is great. I'm not complaining about the touring. I love it. You know, most people think you got to be lucky. You don't complain, Steve. I've got a shit job you hate. Yeah, I bet most of you couldn't tour either. Knocks people's fucking brains out if they don't want to do it. You know, most people are settled to a neighborhood or a city or a friend group or they don't right, go out here and go somewhere different every day for fucking 90 days and then perform at night, then go to bed at 1 and then get up at 8 in a hotel and then get in the car and then drive and then eat at a chip shop and then sit around in a dressing room for 5 hours because you got there at midday because the drive is only 1 hour. And now sit there and wait and wander around the town and then do this and then go on stage and then wait for the next guy to finish and then get in the car and then go to a hotel and then get your bag out of the car again, then pull all your fucking toothbrush and all that out of the car and then drive off, realize you left your toothbrush in the fucking hotel and now you got to find it, which you think is not hard to find a toothbrush, which it isn't when you just pop down the chemist, go to the bank and go back to your house. But now I'm at a venue, I don't know where this town, where can I get a toothbrush? And it's like, we took a guy out to do some filming once. 3 days in, he was like, I'm fucked, mate. I want to go back to my wife.
Yeah. Touring's brutal. That's I could not do it anymore.
No, you know, I've watched guys be in bands for years and then they start touring and then one of them, I don't know.
It's funny seeing the bands that come through. Like, I mean, I haven't been there very long, but at the Arts Centre, you get the tours at different stages. At the very start, they're all kind of still getting along, and then there's the middle section where they're like in the middle, you know, a few months of the tour, and they just fucking hate each other.
Well, you know, if you've done enough in your experience, you can get through that way. You have to understand. Me and Reg used to call it tour fuzz. When one guy would have tour. When one guy, you know, one guy's gone. Something could go wrong, but we'll be all right. We know what's going on. You know, he's hit the wall for a fucking day or two. But of course, that's just a couple of comedians. A lot harder when there's 4 in a band and 2 roadies and fucking much more of a recipe for things to get fucking awry, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you know. But yeah, I don't know how we got onto this, but yeah, waking up basically, yeah, you know. So maybe, and I think sometimes at the moment there's so much stresses on people, right? From every angle, because it's a transitional period, and they're constantly talking about wars, and the fucking trannies want to put you in prison, and the feminists don't like the trannies anymore. What was hilarious? Now there's cops protecting guys who are pretending to be chicks, and the cops are bashing the feminists. So now there's posters about violence against women everywhere, but now the cops are protecting guys in panties against legitimate women who are now not liked, even though they're feminists, even though we liked it last week. So it's, you know, it's clown world. And then there's what? Oh, we're going to charge you $4,000 a minute for electricity, and you got to have an electric car, and the planet's going to die. And Greta Thunberg, the Goblins, here to tell you about that. And the Ukraine guy saying, and by the way, open your borders to every fucking person in the third world, and we're going to take away your money and not let you have a car or heating and live in a 15-minute city. So all this is like, even if your brain, because what does the brain do? Well, it tries to get rid of it. Like any trauma, like if someone's been raped or abused, then what happens? Sometimes the brain can compartmentalize and shift off to disconnect from the experience, can't it? They talked about how it's almost creating an alter personality. This is which was what ritual abuse is about.
Yeah, it's all the MK Ultra stuff.
Yeah. Right. So I think sometimes, even as a collective right now, all this stress, there could be a great part of just the mind, the collective mind, getting into denial. You know what I mean? To try and protect the organism and the psychology from the weight of the lack of hope.
Yeah, right. Do you think that's becoming part of the universal consciousness, the denial factor?
I think it's just a natural part of the fucking organism. You know, as we said, even when you break off into these alter personalities, that's kind of the mind denying what's happening to the organism, isn't it?
Yeah.
How many personalities you got, Steve?
Sorry, mate?
How many personalities you got?
Oh.
You seem pretty consistent to me.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I've seen you on stage. You're the same on stage as you are here. You touch a few more sensitive topics doing this, which is nice. But I could tell when I saw you on stage, this was years ago, the first time I saw you, I could tell you knew all that stuff. Like I could see the depth of knowledge behind the comedy that you were doing. And I was like, yeah, he's one of mine. I like wrote down your name on my phone. I was like, I'm going to look him up on YouTube later and stuff. I mean, I could tell immediately all the other comics were doing sort of back then semi-woke stuff, like just safe stuff. And you were the only one with an edge.
You know what's funny is I'm going to turn this into a joke, or at least something to say is because they label you always a controversial comedian or radical comedian. But see, the thing is, no. You want to send fucking you're teaching kids that they can take hormone replacement therapy and just be gay if they want, and there's a million genders. That's controversial.
It should be.
Right. So you twist it around again. Right now you go, well, Steve Hughes doesn't agree with all our insanity. He's controversial. No, you're controversial. I'm not the one suggesting that all this go on. Same as when you listen to these people tell you about saving the planet. Excuse me, you're dropping depleted uranium shells on the Earth, on the surface of the Earth. None of us are. Now you're coming around and saying, "Oh, you people better we fine you 200 quid for dropping a cigarette butt to save the planet because you can't." But you're dropping depleted uranium on it. Why have you inverted this and somehow it's us doing this? Even though there will be a part of responsibility we should take for it through our acquiescence to our programs. So we play in a part in it, right? Because but part of that is also we feel powerless because what do we do to stop a bunch of maniacs with fucking weapons flying their planes off and doing it? We don't know how to stop it. Right?
But so, I recycle my depleted uranium always in the red bin.
I'm very the nuclear symbol on it. Yeah,
I'm very strict about that. I'm very
drop that in your area.
Yeah, it's the glowing bin this week.
Green glowing bin.
Act local, think global. Put your depleted uranium in the red bin.
That's right. Please do not dispose of dead bodies in the glowing green bin, even though it's convenient.
It can come back
it's hilarious. It's everything gets inverted. It's like now they could go, well, you better agree with everything the homosexuals say or do, and the LGBT. You better agree with all that, or the cops could come around and you could be done for a hate crime because you're against homosexuality. Excuse me, isn't this the same system that used to jail homosexuals? See, none of us were jailing homosexuals. This system that's telling me I better agree with homosexuals used to jail homosexuals. They even made a film. What was it? The fellow who cracked all the codes for the Nazis, for the English.
Yeah.
Filmed the code or something with Cumberbunch, that fellow or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that big story is what? Because he did all that work for them, but he was gay. So afterwards they put him in prison and killed him. Or he died, right? So that brutal system that did that to a man who helped him has now decided to change the rules because does it take any responsibility for perhaps fostering an attitude towards homosexual people from its laws that it enforced? because everyone would have known the law. So does that foster an attitude within the general public of what's right or wrong? Well, because we weren't jailing them, you were. You suggested, and we all believe that it's right to jail them. Now you don't jail them. You go, you better believe what they say, or we'll put you in jail.
Yeah.
Excuse me. We never jailed them before. You did. Why? How come you're the good guy? Right? Because you take any responsibility for the attitude you used to have towards? Oh, now you're just see you.
They're giving the same drugs, the chemical castration. They're giving those drugs to the children now. So they've still got the same drugs. Just this is gender affirming.
So it's so with all this fucking chaos, you could wake up. Some people wake up because they don't know. They don't know. They can't fathom because it's so nuts. If they don't have any knowledge, how do they fathom what could be happening? But besides, perhaps easily falling into the narrative, because often they do. They go, well, I guess it does have good things about it because it does. I mean, do you not think it's a good idea, Steve, to have people understand that it's okay to be homosexual? Do you not think that that's a good thing to teach the children? Yeah, but see, that's not the agenda. That's just what you think the agenda is, because they're tricking you with the idea of compassion, right? See, it's like everything is like just a show reel. Like I was in Oxfam the other day, which is a charity shop here. So in the front window, there's a big rainbow poster, and it's go, Oxfam is open to fucking we and they and them and whatever you want to be, right? But here's the thing: are they? No, this is just decoration for the narrative. There's no substance behind your apparent stance for the ideology. I can feel it. I can tell. Why? Because you've just put it up there as decoration of the narrative.
Doesn't cost
because this
anything.
This is what it's like. Comedians still denying. Oh no, it's not. You can say what you want. All that. No, you can't. Stop pretending that you can. Because the clubs are acquiescing. Why? Because they're perpetuating the narrative. Why? Because they don't want their fucking cash. Because there's things around it now. So don't tell me that they're not acquiescing, because they are. So and that all just, and then that forms the reality again. And yet the substance of the reality is not real, because they weren't even hassling gays or women or Indians or black people before in comedy world. It wasn't happening. But now you've acquiesced to something that's going to stop good comedy, create freedom of speech, be able to victimize people for hate crimes, get the minorities to prosecute the majority of people. And you think, no, you're acquiescing and creating the reality. And now denying that it's even happening. I mean, you want to hear the latest one I've heard at London Bridge fucking railway station here in fucking London. I get on the escalator there the other day, and what's it say to me? The AI escalator speaks to me. Make sure you hold moving handrail at all times and face in direction of travel. Because, sometimes people on an escalator turn around, talk to their mum or their girlfriend or their dad or their friend. But now, and was there a big spate of people falling backwards off escalators and getting sucked under, and every day on the news another one? No, that wasn't happening, because people have nervous systems and they know how to stand up, right? And so they can stand backwards. I'm sure someone's forgotten once in a while and fell on their ass, right? That's life. Some people go swimming and get eaten by a shark. That's fucking life. So, but now there's an AI thing telling you that you can't turn around and talk to your friend. Why? To protect you, for your safety, right? To protect you from what? Stuff that wasn't happening. Right. So you're all, or if it was happening, so what? What was happening? No one was getting sucked in and dying. Someone might have fallen on their ass and felt humiliated at London Bridge Station or wherever they felt. But that's just fucking life, isn't it? That's just, but no face in direction of travel. Well, automatically, I can just see one of those films that they made about these dystopian futures with everyone in a silver suit going,
Yeah.
I love getting into the front of the elevator and just facing the back and just being face to face with a bunch of strangers. They get ridiculously uncomfortable. It's probably just to protect them from that. It's nothing to do with like COVID or falling over or anything. It's probably so we don't feel uncomfortable.
Well, see, getting rid of uncomfortableness is a big part of the fucking PC world, and because people always say to me, some I've had comments, why does this guy keep talking about political correctness and all this? Because I don't think you people understand it as much, and how it's connected to fucking, it's just an aspect of all this, which is what? Safety and no pain, and which you all think is a good thing because you don't like pain. Right? This is why most of you have status quo lives, because when you have the big life, you got to go into pain. Right? But this is all about what?
Avoid pain, though. We can't help it.
Right. So this is a great thing to play upon. Right. But disguised as safety and compassion and looking after you, right? But so what? You got a safe space in comedy. What's that? To avoid psychological pain, emotional pain. That they've said someone can't be uncomfortable or suffer, right? Got to hold the handrail. Why? So you don't fall over, right? There's a sign in the bathroom. Wash your hands now. Why? Because you get rid of the thing, and right. And what's this connected to? Well, pharmaceuticals, medical. Why? Painkillers. Get rid of pain. Don't feel pain. Take this before the pain comes. But at the same time, anyone that's a weightlifter or an athlete or on a YouTube channel telling you how to get life together is going, what? Get out of your comfort zone and into pain.
Yeah. Are you a Wim Hof guy? You do the ice baths and shit?
Mate, those, David Goggins, him, fucking anyone you want to listen to that's going, what? Well, David Goggins is what? Well, as soon as it's more pain, I go, right, I mean, I'm going in there. Because he knows that it's the mind state. Yeah. You know, so I was watching these Shaolin monk guys one day, and they're fucking going like this, and fucking, you know, they fucking knock your fucking block off while looking like ballet dancers at the same time, right? And then, but he's talking about pain. He goes, oh yeah, no, it fucking hurts. He goes, but I just fucking pre-program the mind to deal with pain differently, right? It's because it's a program. So now I've just got to fucking reprocess the fucking, the pain's there, but I don't have the same attitude towards it I used to. Which is how you obviously become a fucking David Goggins. Yeah, any weightlifter will tell you that, right? You know, and maybe there's a part in our evolution in the years to come where we don't have to go into a pain to evolve. But maybe in this time period, we're like, no, we certainly... You can tell that's why people won't wake up. Why? Because they'll wait till the pain outweighs the fear.
That's right. Terrifying.
You need the pain to cause the muscles to grow. Like after exercising, you get that pain. That's the muscles are regrowing. That's how you get the. So all this stuff of padding out reality till there's no
safety, security, safety. For your safety and protection.
Keeps
like I've got a joke now. You get on the train here and they go, this is a 3:15 from London Euston to Manchester. We just like to say your safety and security is our main concern today. And I'm like, no, well, why is it your main concern? Getting me to Manchester should be your fucking main concern. Right?
That's part of the problem because
100 fucking quid for a 2-hour train trip, right? And secondly, safety and security from what? Because I got a feeling, Brad, the fucking train manager, if this fucking thing goes off the rail at 180 miles an hour into a fucking paddock in fucking Stoke-on-Trent, there's not much you're going to do for fucking anyone. You're going to be burning it on fire in a field with the fucking rest of it. And believe me, I've been on 1 million trains from Euston to Manchester. You know how many terrorists I've seen? None.
I don't think there's even a training course for like dealing with a train derailment or something. It's like, what are you going to do? I don't know, jump off and stop the train physically? Like, no, it's derailed. It's really heavy. It's doing what it's going to do.
It's
let the physics happen.
It's going to do what it's going to do. This is why you don't understand about fucking. Oh, help save the planet. The planet will do what it wants to do. That's a great thing.
One way or another.
Have we discussed this one? This is my latest fucking by John Trudell. It's just a small understanding. It's a great one. He goes, stop thinking they've got power. These systems. He goes, what they have is authority. Right? They trick you into thinking they've got authority. He goes, you've got power because you're part of nature, and nature in the universe is power.
And you see,
right? They've got authority, which they trick you with violence and incarceration and death and fear. but that's authority. And if you have enough money, it brings you power. He goes, no, money brings you access to authority. Right? He goes, because you're part of the universe, and the universe is power. Because if the planet decides, doesn't matter how big your army is, the planet could just go,
Yeah. Nope.
right, and have no dead bodies to deal with. Maybe some animals, but that's all part of the fucking thing. And then so if you got your army, if a hurricane decides to really go, well, now your army's just fucking gone, and the Earth's just going, yeah, what are you gonna do about that? So if you're connected to that, if you're born from that, from the Earth, some would say you're born from God, right? But that's that monotheistic thing. But if you're going for more sort of a Native American, maybe a true Gnostic thing, with you're out of the spirit of the earth. You're what, Mother Earth, Father Sky. You're the children, the guardians of the fucking thing, the realm, the conscious thing, to be a creator. You're connected to power because you're eternal. The body's not, but you are, because you're in eternity. That's power. This is why they trick you with all the occultism and the propaganda and the aversion and the lies to get you away from what you are.
Amazing how those people are so threatened by the truth, and how the truth becomes this thing which is controversial. It's just the truth.
Yeah.
But
I know. Well, anybody that's watched a mainstream morning show or a fucking thing like this, they talk to you like you're a fucking moron. Like they talk to people in that. It's like when sometimes I have to see someone like Kate Bush get interviewed on a morning show or something. If she does a bit of promotion once, or she probably, but and it's like, these people have no idea how to talk to this person.
Yeah.
And so with the second record, was it funny? Because that film clip was a bit funny, wasn't it?
What was your inspiration?
Yeah.
Like working with Face or Bozo the Clown or whoever it was. Yeah.
Where do you get your ideas from?
Yeah. Tom McDonald reference.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was great the other day. There's a great interview on, Rick Beato's show on YouTube. Breaks down songs and all that. And he interviewed Sting, and Sting's on an easy interview. But because that guy knows what, Sting probably is so bored to sit there and listen to someone. Yeah, where do you get your ideas from? And did it take you long to write Roxanne? And so, but see, Rick Beato goes on there straight away, just starts talking. It can talk and knows like fucking where the music goes and how it functions. Within like 3 minutes, to Sting, who's all kind of stoic and grumpy looking, starts to go. Next minute, the whole thing just and laugh. Every comment. Oh, it's so great to fucking have Sting interview. He's not fucking interviewed by dickheads, right? Just to watch him open up and go, oh, now we can get some actual information.
Is that the one where he's talking about the bridge? And he's talking about how the bridge has kind of died off in music?
Yes.
Yeah. He's talking about how it's like it's emotional therapy to you come to the bridge and you kind of go, well, yeah, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe I'll find another.
Yeah. I like that analogy, especially because he's so clever at writing love songs that you don't know are about love in a way sometimes, or maybe you do, and I'm just a bit dumb. It took me about 30 years to realize Walking on the Moon was kind of a love song, which is kind of just it's like, walking back from your house, walking on the moon. Well, it's like, when you're in love, you're walking on air,
Yeah.
And it's done so fucking well, because you think, walking on the moon, what's it about? I don't know what's about. Walking on the moon. But you realize, no, he's very skilled at that storytelling fucking lyrics. Really good. He's got that skill of taking you in straight away. He's like the old 70s tracks. The Carpenters, that one could take you into a story in the first line.
Yeah.
Bang, you're kind of in that. She's captivated you, and you're in, and now the story unfolds with the lyrics. They don't have many storyteller lyricists any day. Phil Lynott was good at it, Thin Lizzy. Sting's good at it. Carpenters, she was good at it.
Fucking Leonard Cohen.
Countless others, which
Leonard Cohen.
I've never listened to his music enough to have a fucking opinion.
The weird thing about Leonard Cohen is you can listen to him and kind of it just doesn't really do anything for you because he's so kind of he just drones but if you hear other people do his songs, it can be very impressive. But just some of his lyrics are just they're prophetic.
There's some good lyrics. There's some fucking great lyrics. Great lyrics in it. I mean, Jeff Buckley did Hallelujah.
Yeah,
it's a great version, and yeah, great lyrics. And what was I going to say? I don't know, something. But I've just got to get a smoke.
So you'll just cut in like a thing here with some little graphics or something.
Yeah. We'll be right back after this break.
Like a little,
okay,
like a little cartoon thing will come on, and
I'm actually out of whiskey. I could have got a whiskey in that time. I should have. Damn it.
Yeah, just grab a whiskey.
By the way, it's April Fool's Day here in Australia for 4 minutes. So
wow,
this might not even be real. This might be a joke. I don't know. I'm going to get a whiskey.
Grab a whiskey.
You want one?
Yeah, just a top up. Yeah.
Top up. You sure you want to do that?
Is it Irish?
Is it Irish?
What's this?
I can't remember which one it is, but it's fucking. It's very strong. Yeah, please do. It's man, it's like.
So is it Irish or is it Scotch?
I'm not sure. I tried to get an answer out of him, but he wouldn't give it up. But
the good Irish whiskey is like good caramel. It's like caramel.
It does.
But the Scottish, what the Scottish like, their whiskey's like them, fucking hardcore.
that stuff. Really, it's a burner. Oh, that's Irish. Can you?
Yeah. Okay. What's the name of it? Looks like quite a long name.
Bunnahabhain. Oh, it's more Scotch whiskey.
I think it's Haven at the end, the pronunciation.
Haven.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's Scotch. So
right, yeah. It's Scotch.
Scott's got a tougher headbutt edge to it.
Oh yeah. I've got some Glengoyne there. Are you a Scotch guy, Steve? Because
no, not at all. I really don't drink.
No.
If I was going to drink whiskey, it'd have to be Irish.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's got a more poetic caramel lilt to it, like them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Compared to the Scots, or
peated whiskey
headbutt you in the face.
I love the stuff that's more like something that'll break your teeth. It's you're drinking it. I need to be reminded when I'm drinking, otherwise I'll just sip until I pass out. So at least when you have a heavy whiskey,
it's a safety measure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a safety. Safety. There it is again.
That last one, it does feel like you're being abused while you're drinking it.
It does.
You're being punched in the face repeatedly. And you're going, I just enjoy being punched in the face sometimes,
Yeah.
Glengoyne, Steve, is 69% ABV, so it's cast strength. So it's like drinking 50% extra on top of like Johnny Walker or something.
I've got a peppermint tea.
It's pretty strong too, I hear. Yeah.
Oh, whew.
Easy on the peppermint, man.
Minty.
You might end up with fresh breath or something. Be careful.
You know what's been doing it for me lately? There's actually just the last couple of days. I went through some of my old recordings that are very heavy on the drums, and I've just been listening repeatedly and putting together like new compositions just based on the drums. And I'm just listening to like what I was playing and just drums. For some reason, man, drums just clear my head out like in a beautiful.
Mate, it's a fucking great timing you bring this up. Great you said that. Just the other day, Stuart Copeland, I was watching it. I've been watching Rush and Stuart Copeland and just like I used to when I was a muser, because I'm moving into a place where I've moved to up in North Wales in a fucking recording studio.
Mm.
The rehearsal studio. Right. This guy's got keyboards, fucking guitars, 200 effects pedals, pianos. Like, I'm like, is this fucking happening? I can't believe it's happening. I'm like, what? Because I've got 4 songs written, and I was sitting there going, how am I going to get these? And now I can get access to this if I can. Hopefully, if I don't have to spend too much money, I'm going to make a record that's just not metal, like that I'm going to fucking go full risk on, fucking. And yeah, it's funny you say that. So your drums help. Stuart Copeland, I watched him the other day. He goes, drums. He goes, they're the best. He goes, you made a skinny 80-year-old boy like me feel like a fucking warrior, right? He goes, so if you ever feel shit, just, what people don't understand, they think they make jokes about us, he goes, but they don't understand how much fun it is to fucking hit things. Right? And he goes, if you feel shit, just go and fucking hit them. One guy was even going, even if you can't play, go and hit them. You fucking feel bad. I'm going, yeah, man. So I've been obsessing with fucking. I almost happened to me the other day. I'm like, oh, that's right. This is what it was like when I was a muser.
Mm.
I forgot all that. I forgot it, but I just wasn't focused on all the time. And now I'm rewatching Rush as a kind of. They're so inspirational, not just musically, but just as fucking guys, just as they're the coolest uncool band ever. They're the coolest band ever. Why? They got dignity. They got morals, ethics. They don't fucking bitch about each other. You don't hear their dirty laundry. You don't hear them bitching about anybody else. It's a 3-way thing on how the songs come out. They're master musicians, every fucking one of them. They've got albums I don't like, but I don't care. Do I love them? Yeah, Iron Maiden, most of their catalogue I don't like, but I love Iron Maiden. We'll go and see them tomorrow, right? But that's not the point, because it's lifers, mate. They're fucking from the heart. Rush. Yeah. I'm watching these young reaction videos. There's young black kids watching Rush videos now from the 80s. They can't fucking believe it. Not just because they're black kids. There's young kids watching it, right? But Rush was always a band that would be too white for black people. That was the kind of thing, Rush is the whitest band in the 3 Canadian middle fucking class lads who played a Midwest American fucking Cleveland, Ohio fucking people with fucking caps and fucking bands, right? But there's all these fucking reaction channels, tons of black people watching it going, I love this stuff. I love it. AC/DC. I used to think, why wouldn't black people be in a rock? Black people are always kind of energetic people. They're good laughers in comedy. Black people, they fucking laugh and they use their whole body and that. And I used to think, well, why wouldn't they be into fucking rock? And then they all are. They're watching AC/DC. Yeah, of course it is. That energy, that fucking. And it's just good to see. I was just watching them. I could feel the inspiration coming, like when I was fucking 25, watching all this. Because when I was in bands, I was just immersed in bands. That's all I did. Like, fucking watched musos and practiced drums and thought about songs and went to band practice and watched fucking Stuart Copeland do drum videos and watched Manu Katché do drum videos and read books on Peter Gabriel and listened to Peter Gabriel and who plays bass and who does this and where does that guy come from, and
a healthy obsession.
Yeah, completely. I always felt sorry for people who didn't. They used to laugh at people who were gags, like, or geeks, or they're into this. I used to think, no, they're so lucky they're into something.
Yeah. Imagine being into nothing. What would that be?
Like? Mate, there's heaps of people who are into nothing. It's like if you go to a charity shop and they've got CDs in there, you'll never find, it's rare to find a good CD in there, because most mainstream people dump stuff at the charity shop, right? And so all the CDs will be NSYNC, Westlife, Boyzone, Christina Aguilera, Adele, so forth, this and why? Because see, which proves to me, see the mainstream bought all this, so they just buy it, but they don't even really like it because it's got no substance. And you can tell they don't like it. Why? Because it's in here now. Right? See, there's no Rush CDs in here. Why? Because they don't get rid of them.
Right? It's like the easiest place to find a Stephen King book is in the Salvation Army store.
Yeah, right. So
what does it tell you?
So, I found a Tori Amos fucking CD single in Oxfam one day. It was like, that's a score. How did that end up in here? because it's all Adele and Westlife and Beyonce and NZ, which proves to me again, what, see, you didn't even like it when you bought it, because people who bought Iron Maiden when they were 16, they didn't get rid of their Iron Maiden records. Why? Because they fucking were into it. Right? So you weren't into this. You bought it because it was the fashion and you were thing, and you just,
I've seen
a lot of little girls bought this stuff, Steve. So come on, you can't do that. They grow up.
It must be.
Yeah, but see what you let your little girls listen to. Because when I grew up, when I was a little boy, I was a child once. Well, I had the Carpenters, Pink Floyd, and Led Zeppelin, and so there was a difference.
A little bit.
Because even ABBA, the acceptable pop band, were master musicians.
Mm.
They're fucking masters. Like Swedes are always very good. Early fucking 70s ABBA records, the production. Listen, what are these Swedes up to? It's crystal fucking clear.
Yeah.
The pop harmonies are fucking like, this is skilled shit. So how come ABBA have sold 300 million records? Because it's not fucking Beyonce. It's not fucking... I mean, she's got some dances. She can probably sing. She's probably one of the better ones. But, these other little things, you get in NSYNC and Westlife and all this fucking whatnot. That's why they're all in Oxfam. And there's no Rush records here. There's no Iron Maiden records in here. There's no Pink Floyd fucking CDs in
A lot of their hits, they're written by like 9 people, and it's like 9 executives.
Yeah, they're all Swedish. But they are. Heaps of them are Swedes, man. They know how to fucking write a pop tune, these motherfuckers. It's almost like ear cocaine. I could hear a Kesha song, and I've seen Kesha. I've looked at her. I know she's got a back. She could be MK Ultra, whatever it is, butterflies all over, Monarch. Who knows, right? Coming out of that world.
Candidate for it.
But I go, what? Yeah, but I go, what do they do? Because I've heard some of it. Go, I can't not like that chorus. It's utter shite. It's almost like ear cocaine. It goes.
It's because now they have companies that are just factories for these ideas now, and they sell them.
I sometimes wonder if they've managed to, if they know how to just get notes and harmonies, and almost like they put chemicals in McDonald's and Doritos to make your brain want it more. I wonder if they've now worked out.
I think they have. I think it might even be AI assisted these days as well, and that's going to come into it if it isn't already.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not from the heart. It's not from passion and inspiration.
It'll be the same soulless horse shit that there's been for a long
time. And we always know there's always been some mainstream pop music since the 70s and that. But even then, you look at it, you couldn't get to do it unless you could do it.
Yeah.
Because there's no auto tune, there's no this, there's no fucking that, there's no. So and of course that happens because the whole society, the whole system has got shallow. As we said, there's no depth to anything. Does Oxfam really support they them people, or have they just put up the poster because you've got to put up the poster?
Yeah,
it's not like you're a guy in Mississippi in 1950 and say there's lots of racism around or something, and you're the one white guy that says, no, I'll let black fellas in my shop, and now has to stand out the front with the gun and right, this is fucking, you know what I mean? Like, this guy's fucking taking a step. There's fucking heart in this.
Yeah.
But there's no heart in putting up the poster or painting your cop car in a rainbow flag or painting the fucking, it's just
not when everyone's doing it.
Yeah, it's decoration for the propaganda.
Where is the challenge? Where is the standing against? No, I'm standing with everyone so I can make money. Yeah. But corporations, they keep buying into all this bullshit because it doesn't cost them anything. They can look good. Meanwhile, they've got,
Well, no, it's also the ESG score, though, right? Isn't it? I mean,
the ESG thing that they're bringing that in. You heard about the ESG?
Enterprise Supplier Development. It's a score that
they love their fancy. They love their fancy names.
Oh, they do, don't they? And it sounds so nice, but what it really is, it's basically BlackRock and Vanguard, these companies that these big hedge fund companies that have all of the wealth of the world, refusing to lend to companies that won't bend to these agendas.
Mm.
So the pressure's coming from above, and it's economically motivated as much as anything else.
And it goes across supply lines as well. So like you get some guy that makes some tiny little widget that go like they can put him out of business because he won't bend the knee. Like they just it covers everything.
Of course it does, because then it goes down. As I said, I tried to explain to this guy one day because they thought they were awake, but they weren't. People don't understand like this whole this PC shit about discrimination. You don't understand, but isn't it better now that if I'm going to be a goth that I don't get discriminated against if I want a job? No, so you don't understand the trick. So if you go to the garden centre dressed as your goth to get a job, and then the guy says no, and they go why? Because you're a goth. They can get discrimination, but you just took away the power of this guy. He doesn't hate the person. No, you can't. I'm making a decision about what I would see fit to run my fucking. I sell potted plants and manure.
Yeah.
I just need a guy or a chick in fucking khaki fucking pants and a white shirt, walk around like a neutral fucking person, and to go, hey, you want to buy some fucking?
Yeah.
I don't need a guy with fucking Marilyn Manson and fucking fishnet. Right, so yes, I am discriminating, but not through hatred, to the fact that I'm making a decision how I will best run my fucking garden centre.
Well,
and I feel it'd be better if I just had a short-haired chap or a fucking pretty girl in some fucking pants and a shirt with my fucking garden centre name on it. We can get on with it.
Besides,
so it's all a trick. You use your compassion, this idea of undiscrimination and freedom, and that too. No, they're taking the power away. Well, then eventually what? That's right. The guy at the garden centre can be prosecuted and has to fucking next minute, like these corporations, they could come down and say to him, well, you better have a guy in here in a wheelchair and a guy in here in a fucking fishnet Marilyn Manson shirt.
Yeah.
Everything's done for the minority now. Like that's why, you're on the train toilet in Britain, and all the toilets now, they used to be sort of in the vestibule. So you'd get in the vestibule, and then there'd be a small bit where you get a train between carriages. And the toilets would be off there, which gives you a moderation of privacy. Right, the whole. But now we've got to accommodate for people in wheelchairs, so all the toilets take up half a fucking cabin. Right, so you press the button, and the door goes, door opening. Stage. So I'm going to write a bit about it. It's almost like a stage play, brought to you by the producers of Cats, Steve Shit, on the way to Manchester. Right. So then you go, because now everybody in the carriage is watching now. Door closing. Now obviously, if I'm in there for fucking now, obviously, it's like I'm going into a fucking pod. Like
pull out the lighter.
So now, obviously, if I'm in there for about 45 seconds, everybody knows it's done. But now I held on to a shit for 3 hours every day because I'm not doing it on the train, because I'm not fucking show. I'm not. I just fucking can't. Like because now if I'm in there for 5 minutes, doors opening. Now I come out. Well, what have you been doing in there? Right now, the whole carriage. Enjoy that? Oh, fantastic!
Come out and bow.
And why do we have to have this? Oh, but Steve, don't you think that you'd be cool to people in wheelchairs? I've been on how many trains have been in England? You know how many people I've seen on trains in wheelchairs? See, it's the minority, a very small minority. But now you're catering. That's why there's 20 fucking disabled spots in front of Tesco or Asda or Woolworths or whatever you got down there right now. But will these be filled all at any time of the day? No. They won't. Why? Because a lot of people in wheelchairs understand their lives. They've probably got people who bring their food. Oh, but we want them to be independent and get well that's up to them. Perhaps some of them have fucking accepted their lives. Why you're making out that they're all miserable and they didn't. But are we allowed to use their spots? No. Even though these 20 spots, because there used to be 3, now there's 20. Now, but how many people? How long will most people be in here? 15 minutes, 20 minutes. The long shot for the mum with the fucking hour and the fucking right. But so all these spots fill up, so it's pissing with rain, and there's only one thing, and there's 20. Can we just come in here? No. So it's like I was in a service station in England. They'd redone the bathroom, and I go into the bathroom in the service station. They put one hand dryer on the wall, but we're down wheelchair thing, not two. Now most people are in wheelchairs, and most people in wheelchairs don't come into fucking toilets and service stations. But now we've put one in there. So now everyone that's the majority, because most people can walk, have to bend down. So you're catering for the minority, which is the same as political correctness, because you're priming them so the minorities, so they're catalogued minorities, can prosecute the majority. Because you're catering to the minorities under the idea of compassion. But, I just read Bono's book, which is a sad indictment on Bono, and it's just disturbing how fucked up that guy is. And now, but there's a quote in there from him going, "You usually can measure the success of a nation by how well its government facilitates the majority." Yeah, that would make sense. But have you noticed now, people, that you're facilitating the minority?
Yeah.
Right, under the guise of compassion, as if somehow, because you've dreamt up these campaigns where the stigma against people in wheelchairs or with mental health. Was there a stigma? What? Because school kids called one kid a spastic? Was that a stigma? Did we all fucking hate people with mental health issues? No, you created, there's a stigma against them. Well, maybe they don't get the same opportunities as some people. Why? Because most people who are, when you need things done, you want someone who's physically fit, emotionally, psychologically. Why? This is the best choice. This is the logical choice to get anything done. There is people who are weaker and suffering in society who were put off to the side. Why? Because the majority is strong. You don't ask the weak people of the tribe to help.
Yeah.
You look after them. Now you would say, yeah, well, we weren't looking after them. No, were we not? I'm sure there were some shit cases, but that's your system with your crap fucking care homes and that. So I didn't fucking hassle fucking people in wheelchairs. So and now you want to fucking cater to them all, like in lieu of the majority.
Does seem
So that doesn't make any sense, folks. That doesn't make any sense, does it? And it's not because Steve's a horrible people that doesn't like people in wheelchairs. No, it doesn't. Does it make sense to put one fucking hand dryer? Couldn't the person in the wheelchair go like that? And then say to someone else, could you push that button for me, mate? Which is human interaction. Could you help me out, mate? Yeah, no problem, mate. Most people go, no, go fuck yourself. No, they go, no worries, mate. What do you want? Right? Which is human interaction. So now it cuts down on that. See, it has little fallouts that people don't fucking see. They don't. We've got to put a speed hump now in these. I'm in this small town in Wales, but now because they're all up there in every part of the fucking world, aren't they? In every nook and cranny, going around these towns. Now we're going to have a road that's got 19 speed humps in it, but it's in a small Welsh village. People around here know how to drive. You might get the odd dickhead at 3 a.m, but there's no one around anyway. And who's going to come for their? They've got countryside 2 seconds away. They're going to come hooning in this bit, right? And also, people around here know how to drive around here. Why everyone drives? Oh, there's 3 cars. You just wait. People don't mind waiting in a small West. Oh, there's a guy on a horse. I'll just wait. But that's how they live. And they've got to go put 19 speed humps here in case they go mental, but they're not going mental.
Mildura is designed exactly like that. Mildura it's all roundabouts and speed humps, and the speed humps fuck up everyone's suspension because they're vicious. They're those vicious little fuckers. But the other thing that's very weird at all the fucking roundabouts, like down here, you see a roundabout, the pedestrian crossing is, I don't know, like 10 meters down the road. So there's enough. If the car's coming through, the car can kind of sit there and wait for the pedestrian without blocking up the rest of the roundabout. Not in Mildura. It's like the roundabout is there, the fucking pedestrian, it's like they're right next to each other. So a person just walks out across the crossing, the pedestrian crossing. The whole roundabout just gets filled up with cars that can't go anywhere.
See, and here's what
There's
people don't
one
understand.
fucking person that's like fucking can't work out how to get across the road.
I'm a permanent pedestrian. I do that on purpose.
Mm.
I cross the road real
You
fucking
son of a
slow.
bitch. You goddamn son of a bitch.
So fuck drivers.
So here's the thing: what people don't understand. They overthink this is just a mistake. Now, this is totally done on purpose.
Yeah,
because it's also psychological programming. Right?
Mm.
It's also corralling you. It's also upsetting you to not want to drive. Right. So things that work, they've changed to things that don't work on purpose.
Mm.
Australia's the first country I ever saw where they put roundabouts in speed humps in front of roundabouts.
Yeah, don't exit too quickly from the roundabout.
like what's going on here, folks? You know what's going on? I did jokes about it years ago. Fucking hell, when they put those signs up everywhere all over Australia, you know, watch out, people about. No, you watch out, cars about. So you've inverted it again.
Yeah.
The person's driving a chunk of metal. See, this is a road. This is where cars go. Like fish are in a river, cars are on a road.
Mm. Pedestrians
can go on the sidewalk and the park and the fucking thing, right? So when you get into this bit, well, you better watch out. Why? There's people driving tons of fucking metal around. Right, right. But you've turned it around now. The person who's changing gears, watching out that the speed has changed every 30, 40, 60, 80, 40, 30, 30. You've done that. So that person's trying to keep on that. You've got speed cameras aimed on them. And now you're saying, watch out for the pedestrians. Why? Because they want everybody to be pedestrians.
Yeah.
See? And this militarizes the pedestrian because they gives him these rights. That's why bike riders are such cunts, because they militarize them like vegetarians and vegans and everybody else. They militarize these groups with these ideas of rights and oppression.
Yeah.
How come the bike riders are such cunts? Because they've, well, I've got the right to the road too, and I'm saving the planet. They got to mow. No, you don't. You don't pay road tax. Why have you got the right to the fucking road? And why don't you use your common sense? There's a fucking footpath there with no one on it. It's 5:05, and you're going down this road in Melbourne where everyone's trying to drive out of the city. Get on the footpath. That's against the law. What, do you want to die?
It's actually not against the law. It's not against the law to ride on the footpath. It's actually a shared.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Mate, I would just fucking go on there straight away. Why do I want to be here in the same thing with a car with 400 people who've just finished work and I'm there and now I take off? Are you a cunt?
You know what's really weird, Steve? I actually injured my wrist the other day falling over on a curb, but I had a fucking green man. It doesn't make any sense. There was a green light. I should have been safe. And yet still, I injured my fucking wrist somehow. I couldn't understand. I still can't understand it. The doctor couldn't explain it. I think I might need to get litigious on this. Yeah.
Were you facing in direction of travel, keeping your hand?
I mean, I was walking backwards, of course. It's the only way I can find out as an individual.
It's very good for you to walk backwards. I've been watching a guy on YouTube. He's a fit fucker. He run backwards, mate. He's fucking good.
It's develop your calves.
It's develop muscles that you're not fucking utilizing. Just fucking walking that way all the time. And but yeah, you know, this shit's everywhere. It's in England now. It's fucking everywhere. You know, you go into these small towns in the countryside England, electronic fucking speed signs. Electronic. See, folks, are you waking up? Like, see, we had a speed sign before that was made of steel that lasted 100 years. Now this thing might get, so some rain might get in it. Like. And why did you put them up every 20 feet? See, I can see 330 signs. Well, I know why. Do you know why? I know why. Psychological programming, fucking absolute control, total fucking grid, get you out of your cars, drive you nuts, total, like, because we're in a small village. And not only does this digital thing, where's all this money? Do you ever ask where your governments suddenly get the money for all these things? Like, they tell you that they had to put 3 speed humps in it and it cost $1.5 million. Why?
Yeah.
What do 3 speed humps cost $1.5 million? And where did you get all the cash to suddenly pull all these signs out that you had all around that lasted 100 years or 200 years, and you pull them all out and replace them. Where'd you get the money for these things? How come you can't fix the local pool? Well, I'll tell you this, because it's probably not in government money. It'd be private money, corporation money, right? Because they're taking over your countries, right? So and so now, Australia always used to have those road signs out in the countryside in the bush that was always that ochre yellow that kind of fitted in. But now they're all that green fluorescent safety jacket green.
Yeah.
Which doesn't fit into the landscape. And the color, and it's designed to create distress. Right? And you replaced them all. Where'd you get the money for this? and why would you have done it? Why would you have gone all the way out? Because I've been in country towns in Australia, and we're friends. I've been and visited, and there's fucking only 500 people live there. But no, there's a school zone there as well. The school's 400 meters off the fucking road. It's in the bush.
You're homeschooled.
Right. But so it's not like there's a school zone for what? Particularly areas that we built schools where there was high density traffic. No, it's blanket. Whether or not it makes any sense to the actual reality of the situation. Well, this school was fucking 500 meters off the road with a big bush playground because we're in the middle of fucking nowhere, 4 hours in from fucking Byron Bay. But there's a school zone. And then they'll go out there and they'll put digital speed signs in there, which have nothing to do with the town. They don't fit in with the town. So what are you doing? Well, they're roboticizing into your AI fucking grid death world and fucking.
It's getting everyone on high alert.
Yeah.
Keep you on high alert.
They keep your nervous system on high alert, which is why they love digital video advertising now in tubes, because they can put boxes and fire and things that make you just fucking have your nervous system constantly fucking. And you didn't ask for this. This is psychic pollution.
Yeah.
And we have no say in whether I want to fucking come up the thing and have some fucking guy kickbox out of the screen and a fire explosion comes out at me and just to sell me a sand shoe, a runner, whatever they call it.
I love that ad.
Selling.
Don't have a go at that ad. It's great. That kickboxing guy with the explosion. I love that one.
I like the
He's selling mattresses.
I like the kickboxing guy that sells tampons. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You've got to turn on your advertising ID. That's the problem. And then it'll be more customized to you. It'll be about purple shirts and shit like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if at the beginning of this conversation, people wake up. There's another part where you fucking can't wake up when this is going on.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, it's not our job, mate. It's not. I've fucking done as much as I could have. Fucking,
That's the journey, though, isn't it? You start thinking you've got to scream it from the rooftops, and then you get to the point where you learn enough that you go, you can't actually change anybody. And if the pandemic didn't show us that, nothing will, because there was so many people who were willing to just sell people like us, off to the police or whatever, snitch on us, all of that stuff. Like, everybody was on board. There was no revolution. There should have been. That's when it should have happened. Yeah. If it doesn't happen then, when's it going to happen, right? I mean, I don't mean to be negative. I think that I love humanity. I'm pro-human, but we are not waking up at any kind of rate.
Mate. It was easy to work out when they did 9/11.
Well, it could have been as easy that time, but you could.
You know what I mean? Like, this was a bigger fucking thing because but then, I mean, how obvious is that? It's fucking ridiculous. It's ludicrous.
Yeah. It really is. It is. But it didn't intrude on enough people's lives. The pandemic intruded on everyone's lives.
Yes.
And they didn't stand up and they just rolled over.
Oh, it's a bummer to hear that, because I've heard some good people out of Australia, but it's just
Melbourne. I mean, I'm more negative than most people, and Scott's probably rolling his eyes as I say this, but it really just taught me there's very little hope of a revolution, and it's going to fall on the shoulders of the few who believe in this. And I don't really know what the solution is unless it's a critical mass. So it's a tough problem, right?
Oh.
What is the solution? I mean, how do we, if we never wake up the masses, how do we actually fight as a minority? Information's not enough, right?
Not eventually. Not if they decide to just, send an army of DARPA robot dogs through the fucking woods if you start growing your own chickens. You know what I mean? They could get that radical. Some fucking drone floats over your house.
Well, you mentioned 15.
People don't understand why. This is why they're digitizing and making your escalators talk, because eventually there'll be a drone just comes in and goes, stand away from that person.
Yeah.
Like this is they've shown you in films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going there.
I mean,
It's not
do
that far away.
you think they're going to stop? You think they're going to stop? They're now mental. That's why I hate. There's another reason science can go fuck itself. It's the fact that all you people just fucking let them do whatever they want, but you hate some religious people. You know what they do and did. Yeah, religion's fucking mental, right? But we're talking about how come you don't say this about scientists? What do you do? Well, we crossed the Black Plague virus with the anthrax virus, and we put it in the front of a missile. Well, I've never heard of a Christian doing that. I've heard of them. I've heard of them burning thousands of witches and torturing people to death and fucking creating Catholic, Vatican, holy fucking British empires. Yeah.
See, do you believe in the scientific method itself as opposed to the science, which is now sort of assumed to be this set of beliefs where the majority wins every time? But the scientific method, I mean, you seem very evidence-based, at least. You read a lot, right? Like you establish your beliefs based on information.
It's not like I because obviously in this day and age, everyone's immediately the programming switches and they go, "Oh, you're anti-science." That's why they use that word all the time. You're anti-vaccine. You're anti-doctor. You're anti-feminist. Like, I'm sitting here talking on a computer with a fucking light. Are you anti-science? What would I be? A hypocrite? I've got to make an electric guitar, and that guy's going to plug that whole studio in. So obviously that would be fucking ludicrous. Whereas I get fucking up in arms is this is a very thing I used to notice about these fuckers, especially when Sam Harris and Richard Dawkins and remember when they were around? Sam Harris, Richard Dawkins, they threw them out there for a while, mixed.
That's still around.
Threw in a bit of Christopher Hitchens, who was always a delight to listen to, and there was another one. They used to call themselves the Four Horsemen of the
Jordan Peterson, Sam Harris. I can't remember the other ones.
Yeah, there's another guy who didn't get as much fucking airplay, but
Einstein was in there, I think.
But see, to me, okay, these are my little interpretations. So see if they resonate with anyone. They would usually say, in one sense, that coming from the scientific perspective, unlike those of, say, religious perspectives, which are working on what they would call blind faith. They'd like to add the word blind, so it's sensible. A religious person may just say faith. So you're working on faith. Obviously, science is not working on faith. It's working on observation, of experimentation, and then repetition of circumstances which happen to the same thing. And does this create or do anomalies? Anomaly. I can never say that word, anomaly. Do they appear? No, well, there seems to be a pattern here. So we based our fact now upon these experiments that we've repeated and got the same result. But unlike religions, if we work out in the future that our answer to that then was not that, and we'll drop that idea and evolve on. So we're continually evolving by why? Because we'll drop our old ideas if we realize, and we'll move on. Unlike these religious people who continue to just sit there working on faith, right, through ancient traditions and so forth. So we're more evolved because we'll move on. But see, if you say to a scientist or these people beliefs that you don't think that's right at the time, then they'll crucify you. Shame you. Why? Because they're just as fundamental as fucking any fucking religious person who believes they've got the fucking truth and the answer. And then if they move on and go, oh, no, we were wrong, actually. Well, are you going to do anything for the reparations of the fucking carnage you left behind when you crucified all those people that fucking went up against your facts or theory? So you know, in one sense, I see some of these. I see this. You know, and I'm not well versed in science, and there's someone out there who studies science may be able to come at me and give me a different perspective. All I'm saying is, you know, besides physics, which I don't know much about either, but your kind of usual Newtonian objectified science is what? Well, in one sense, I think we talked about this on another podcast. To me, they're just like map makers. They're like cartographers. They mapped physical reality and observed it. Like, how do they know what's going on in the body? Well, they opened it up and peered in it, didn't they? And they went, look at that. And there's a spine, and that goes there, and muscles connected this, and this, and we did that, and the veins go through here, and now we can see this thing of the. Well, what is that? It's a map. Right, but that doesn't give you the depth of the animation, which is what the personality, the life, that's the depth world. This is the fucking horizontal plane. So you've just what? Well, we pulled apart a rose. We looked at it and go, see, it's got these things, and the water goes up there. I should say, see, the scientist pulls the rose apart to see how it works. Well, the artist writes a poem about how beautiful it is. So they're constantly peering in, thinking they're going to get answers to the mysteries of the universe by, to me, mapping objectified reality. Like, and I'm just not that impressed.
Motivated, like if you got the answers to the mysteries of the universe, wouldn't it be like seeing how a magic trick is done? It just ruins it. It's not interesting.
I was going to say also, what would you do with that? I mean, because apparently you told us we came from apes. So would your little ape, not me, but the rest of it, would your little ape brain fucking function with knowing the secrets of the fucking? It's like we've all been convinced that watching science fiction movies that you can just fly out into space and get off and walk around, and maybe you can't. Maybe maybe the whole thing's. What if the whole thing drives you mental? Like you go out there and it's just, hang on, or the body just something happens, but we just think you put on a spacesuit and rock around. Maybe you don't. Maybe you can't. Maybe something weird happens. You know?
Something weird always happens in my experience.
One of my favorite quotes about religion is can't remember who it was, but they said the only thing worse than religion is its absence.
Well, we're finding that out, aren't we?
It's a beautiful.
Oh, mate, you know. See, this is where people need to get some knowledge. Why? So they need to break down their old beliefs. In my opinion, so they need to break down their old beliefs so they can start. Because I start to think you have to start to understand. Because lots of people go, "Yeah, fuck Christians. They fuck the kids, and they did this and they did that in the science. They haven't got the answer to that." And so then they just flip to another thing, thinking you can just dismiss that whole thing. Well, you can't, because it's played a part in your fucking existence. You're connected to it whether you fucking like it or not. Right? You cannot go to church and but you've existed in fucking, it goes back into the collective fucking psyche. So what do you do about that bit? And then, do you want to go into a purely scientific, non-religious world? Right. I wouldn't use the word religion because I don't want to be a Christian. I've listened to, I don't want to be this. I've listened. It just doesn't resonate with me, these fucking religions. I'm like, no, I don't. People get mad in there too. They get mad in there. Yeah. Like some of them find solace in knowing that some of them don't care about dying, which could also be a program of what's like a death program.
Yeah.
But also it could be someone who comes to haven't we all, people who are sort of on our level, thought about the next fucking 5-10 years and contemplated, well, I could be dead. They go berserk. Yeah.
To me, I kind of subscribe to the Carlin-esque idea that I'm just observing the show and I don't really have a stake in the outcome. And it can get really bad, but I can tolerate bad, and it'll be fun to watch one way or another. Maybe that's a bit cold.
I know what you're saying.
Well,
no, I can. I don't think it's cold. It's a fucking part of what? Well, I mean, if people love science, what's that called? Cold, hard science.
It is true.
But no, I don't think it's cold. It's the same way. See, most people, we've been programmed also to we don't understand righteous anger anymore. And I didn't for years either. You know, this supposed to be a pacifist. Any kind of violence is bad. And like, no. We've been fucking tricked. You know, because just look at the natural world, especially now I've been living in the fucking countryside. Mate. I've got this idea for a joke. I go, I think you should stop calling people who are kind of the mass to stop calling them sheep as if they don't know what's going on. Because I've been walking in the countryside and I tell you what, sheep are very observant about their fucking enemies. When we walk past them with the dogs, mate, they're all, who the fuck is that dodgy looking cunt? Right? You can almost see him, like, you see that, Bill? I see him. And you can, and they're ready to run, and I know they're thinking, because also here's what'll happen in nature. If that dog gets too close, mate, they'll turn around and they'll try and kick its fucking head in.
Yeah.
Right? Right? Nature fucking defends itself.
Yeah.
When something fucking encroaches upon its area, territory, or survival.
Have you seen that cartoon where it's a bunch of sheep and one of the sheep saying to the other sheep, they're just trying to cultivate us to get our meat and then they're going to eat us all. And the other sheep's like, stop being such a fucking conspiracy theorist. It's brilliant. So true, though.
But, you know, you can see this kind of thing with people running around Europe now going, open borders. Right. Well, they've been lulled into a sense of security. They don't understand. But not everybody who's coming in is fucking coming in for the reasons you think they are. Not everybody's coming in is thinks like you.
Do you think those people actually believe
the world is
that
still a full-on
people have
place?
good intentions?
Sorry?
Do you think that those people that say that the open borders, do you think that they truly believe that deep down everyone's a good person?
Oh, yeah, of course. I used, not that everyone was a good person, I wasn't that fucking naive, but just in the sense of I was programmed by the colonialism, the British Empire, the racism, the fucking thing. And come on, I've been to 40 countries. People go, I've never been a racist. I never fucking had an issue with fucking Greek, or any Chinese blood. I think never spun me out.
Mm.
They used to spin me out as a kid. What are you people so freaked out about it?
What about Luxembourgians, though? They're the worst, aren't they?
Who, sorry?
Just people from Luxembourg. They're the worst ones. Everyone else is fine by me, but Luxembourgians, fuck them.
Mm.
There's not many of them, but they're fucking annoying. I mean,
thank God someone's finally saying it. You know?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I have to have the courage because no one else will say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Antwerp's been too quiet for too long. So, but you know, I mean, there was 2 young European girls here. The whole thing was like, let's go to the Middle East and have a holiday, and we'll go for a hike to prove that people are fucking cool. What happened to them? Well, you don't want to know what happened.
Mm. They got
But
killed.
it didn't turn out fucking chocolates and roses. I can tell you that.
Mm.
Yeah, but what did they say to them?
Your peace, you know, you don't go wandering around the mountains of Afghanistan, 2 girls from fucking Denmark.
Mm.
I'm sure there's some nice people out there. What you think I'm stupid? You think everyone from Afghans are fucking no? But you're wandering into things you know nothing about.
Mm.
But don't you think that humans are not good or bad, just a blank slate and subject to their conditioning for the most part?
I don't know about that
people
anymore.
don't set out to be evil. Like, evil people don't think they're evil most of the time, unless they're maybe psychopaths in there.
I mean, that's a constant thing in psychology, isn't it? This nature nurture thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But that comes back because before you were saying about the Carlin thing or the Hixian thing, where it's just a ride. We've discussed that a lot.
Yeah,
and I'm never sure about that because it's like it takes away free will.
You're not convinced by my great arguments for determinism yet.
They're pretty good, you know. But
they're
unfortunately, I have free will. No,
you have the illusion of free will.
Yeah. So we get into that whole thing, but I don't know. I tend to think that
I think you do have free will,
evil.
and sometimes you don't have free will. See, I think that's the argument they have with that, isn't it? They would debate. They would say free will doesn't exist because your unconscious is resonating with fucking stimuli and making you have a decision based upon your conditioning, and you're making an unconscious decision. So therefore, where's the free will?
Okay.
But yet I think, okay, I think that could be true, but also I think free will is fucking true as well.
Mm,
I think both are true. I think,
I
yeah.
think the analogy I always use is if there's a whole bunch of water circling around a sink and it's going down towards the sink, right? All of those particles of water are going into the sink at some point, right? But they can tell each other anything they want on the way down. You know, they can say that they're having relationships, they're doing things, they're going here on purpose, they're going here because they're on a spiritual quest. They can say whatever they want. They're going down the fucking sink, right? At the end of the day, there's a scale of things where particles need to get where they're going, and we have no control over that. We just tell some kind of a story about it and pretend that we made choices.
Water doesn't have
But it was
legs,
going down.
Harvey.
Water doesn't have, because we have legs, that analogy doesn't work.
That's yeah.
If we were flying,
I'll be
better.
I'll be the host for now. Or you two go. You two go with your water legs theory. Right?
Are you a determinist, though? I mean, you've said things that sound like you kind of. I mean, you're obviously aware of the concept, right? And the
idea of determinism based on what?
Well, cause and
genetics,
effect, basically.
sex, gender.
If you believe in cause and effect, then the future is already predicted, right? Because there's an inevitable effect to every cause.
I don't know if I'm smart enough to start to think like this.
Well, you just can't calculate it. There is no computer that can calculate the future. But if there was,
sometimes
it could.
Sometimes I think I'm smart, and then I read actual philosophy books and go, I don't even know what you're talking about. I had to stop 9 times to get a thesaurus. What the fuck is that?
Well, it doesn't help that some of this stuff comes from Sam Harris, and he turned out to be a complete fuckhead. So I don't know what to think anymore. Determinism is still pretty compelling.
Well, I would, I would use the argument of determinism when I was talking about this. Men and women are the same thing, because that's a denial of any kind of biological determinism in one sense, isn't it? Saying it's all just a social construct.
Yeah, but that's scientifically untrue, right? We've got chromosomes. And
yeah. Of course, I think there's determinism. I mean, I think there's a part of that. Well, nature gave you females and males, and there's probably certain drives that go towards what? Towards the union creating the biggest outcome for life to perpetuate itself. You know what I mean? So there would be, that's why there's no such thing as equality, really. I know there's equality, like you don't let the fucking Rosa Parks black woman have to sit at the back of the bus. I get that. I get that equality. But when you say if there's any equality, there isn't really. I've got a joke. Yeah, if there's true equality, I should be fucking as many women as Brad Pitt. Right? I'll tell you what. But I tell you what, as it stands, I'm not even fucking as many women as my mate Jason.
I'll tell you, that's some equality I could get behind. Yeah, let's.
Yeah. I'm gonna add another bit to that. I'm not as fucking as many women as my mate Jason, and he's gay. So, I'm doing all my material on Box of Dogs. Don't post it. I haven't done this. I wrote a joke the other day. I don't think I should do it on here in case someone hassles, and I can only do it to the good Steve Hughes grid. You want to hear this one? Yeah, okay.
Of course.
We'll do that one later, off air. And then, I had a shit gig the other night. Oh, shocking.
Where?
Oh, down sort of a place I've never been. Get to Haywood Heath. Sort of near Brighton. And I had to go down from London and then get a fucking transfer bus. I've never been to Haywood Heath in 25 years, been in this fucking country. And the first time I go there, I have to get off 3 bridges and then get the bus and then I couldn't get back at night, because this is what's so frustrating about England. I'm only an hour from London, but after 10 o'clock, how are you going to get back?
Yeah.
Well, how come if I was an hour out of Amsterdam, I could get a train every hour, all night?
That's why I'm not in Ballarat.
Why can't in England I get back to London at night an hour away? So now I had to go with my mate, drive all the way back to fucking Portsmouth, and then pay 40 quid the next day to go on a 2-hour fucking train trip back to fucking London. And I just got one of these. We're doing gigs in halls, and sort of an underground scene setting up. But some of this underground scene, I've done some great gigs here in farms and fucking stuff. Just people but all awake, killer crowds, great.
Yeah.
But this one was just a town hall that some people were setting up some comedy out of the comedy circuit. It was just they didn't like me the minute I walked on. Just couldn't get them, and I just one point, and I'm such a fucking arrogant cunt. I just go. Oh, I don't like you. I go out of 5. I give you about a 2 as an audience. I go actually. I said on this. I said it's like this. It's like I've already. This is like science, and you love science, don't you? You're all into science. I guess see, I've done this for 25 years. I've even done 10 gigs before this. They were all killer. But so this is like a scientific experiment. See, I brought the stuff, and then I gave it out and everybody laughed. And now I come here and the only thing that's the same here is me, but none of you are laughing. So it's probably not me. Because I've already done the experiment for a quarter of a century. It's worked most of the times. Now I come here, well, there's an anomaly because you weren't at the last gig, but I was, and it was going great. Now I'm here, so I'm the same thing as the last gig, which is killer, and you're here and it's not going great. So I think this is on you.
No, see, if you just put material on like eating or something, a bit more broad, that's the way to go. Things that everybody can relate to.
But you know what? There could be a way. Maybe I will go to the old fucking entertainment idiom. Perhaps there's a way for me to. Am I cluey enough to get this crowd to win them over? Probably I am sometimes if I choose to be, right? Maybe I can't. But
maybe the audience doesn't deserve it.
But mate, I tell you, mate, I get a little arrogant like that. And then sometimes I watched Rush the other night, live in Cleveland, right? All the comments are like, what a crowd, what a great thing to film in front of this crowd, right? And then they're going, one of the best crowds we've played for. Well, you telling me a crowd doesn't make any difference? I know they make a difference. Yeah. I played in bands for 15 years and I fucking done comedy for 25. All I've done is gigs since I was 16. That's all I've fucking done. They make a difference. That crowd is fucking killer. Is it sometimes yes, I could understand the challenge of maybe getting a crowd who doesn't like you to come around to I've done it sometimes. Right? Yeah, sure, but sometimes you can't. And sometimes I do just fucking get, fuck it. Yeah. I remember one night I fucked up a gig in Liverpool. I didn't blame the crowd. I realised it was me. I fucked this up. Because the night before I'd gone on and I just kind of improv off the start. They were laughing. It's a great way to tell if you've got a good crowd if you sort of improv off the top and they come with you. They're coming straight away, right? Like, okay, these people are up to laugh, right? Then if you can slowly manipulate it into your joke so it doesn't seem forced, bang, we're on the fucking way. So sometimes I went on stage the other night, and one night, that's right, in Liverpool, the Friday night I could do that. Then I went back into the Saturday night and just was a bit cocky, not, hey, I'm great, but just sort of, I'll go in there and do that tonight. And they just weren't coming. And now I've got to get it into they weren't a bad crowd, but I've fucked this up. And I couldn't get the material back on, and I realised that they're kind of there, but they're not. I've lost them. I'm out of sync, and I realised that I did this. I'll take full responsibility. It's me. I fucked this, and I can't fit back in. So that was a bummer. That was almost like a waste of a gig. Like, bummer, you could have had a good time, Steve. You fucked it up. You know what else I told this crowd the other night? Fuck, this was cheeky. I said, you know what you like? I said, if you ever taken cocaine, sometimes you order cocaine, and sometimes it takes ages. And I said, for me to get to this gig today, I had to get on the train, go down to London Bridge. There's millions of people. I sit on a packed train for an hour. I get off at 3 Bridges. I stand in a car park for 40 minutes. I get on a bus. I get picked up by my mate. I get driven here. We're on stage in 3 fucking minutes. And then after all that, you get here and you go, great gig is like the cocaine coming. You order some cocaine, but sometimes you order cocaine and you wait 3 hours. He said he'd be 45 minutes. He said, and then the cocaine shit. I go, that's what you're like. You're like, I put all this effort in, and now I've got shit cocaine.
Did that get him on side or?
Nope.
Probably.
The problem is they go, oh, I've already seen one comment somewhere. I was at a town hall Saturday night. This guy just walked off stage. No, I didn't. I did the 36 minutes. I looked, I said to Sean, then I said, listen, this hasn't worked out between us. Best I just go. We'll get divorced. You know, one woman went, oh, I said, no, I said, yeah, you don't win them all, love. And this one's a fucking non-winner. So now I'll just go and fuck it, because me and Sean were going to go on afterwards and do a sort of a double thing and just maybe riff. And I was like, that's me out of that. Sean will fucking fix up the end. No use bringing me back. Who brought the fucking rotten fish back? You know. So
does it bother you when that happens? Like, does it bother you beyond the night?
It doesn't bother me emotionally like it did when you were younger and you'd fall into a pit of fucking, oh God, what did I do? I've done it for too long now. I'll admit if I fuck it up. I'll admit if I'm a bit arrogant. But sometimes where you get upset, it's just because, as I said, you put in all that effort. And then a killer gig is fucking killer. Yeah, good. I might have got the job done. We had a good time. I like doing gigs. You know, and this was just, so then it's like, oh God, all that effort for this. So I'm not so much upset emotionally. I'm upset with, oh, did I fucking spend 3 hours on trains for fucking this?
That's the commute. Yeah, that's the...
Yeah.
Have you ever crashed the crowd on purpose, or like, you know, bombed on purpose, just
like
steered them? Yeah, like or Patrice, where
I've definitely realized that I've gone, say, off road. Maybe they can handle this stuff, and then I've gone there, and they won't handle it, and stuff gets worse. And sometimes I was going to make a decision: should I steer it back there? And I've gone, nah, fuck it, just keep driving, and until it's just
see some carnage.
Yeah, please stop it. You know, sometimes it's work because I can be cheeky enough and not completely hateable, unless you decide in the audience that's it, I don't like this guy. I can be cheeky enough to sometimes win you back, because I've done gigs like that where, you know, at the end it's kind of, we're becoming friends now. You know, say that. Sometimes I've got him in the last 5 minutes. It's a real bummer, because like, oh, bummer, we could take this somewhere now, and I've got to fucking go. But yeah, I've got one on this Brighton on Sunday. It's a solo show, so you know this was just a 30-minute set. So hopefully people will come. I'm in Brighton, which is a pretty woke place, but they're coming to see me. Hopefully they'll know.
You'd expect they'd know. You'd expect they'd have some idea, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, a lot of them do. But sometimes it's even getting to a point now, like I just said, I've done some gigs to proper fucking awake people, you know, where you can actually really go to fucking town. And sometimes dealing with people who aren't fucking, as we said, up to date enough now, it's almost like a chore. It's fucking, dealing with some comedy crowds now. I don't want to deal. It's like gigging to children. You know, like, no, we got to tiptoe around, and they shut down. And, shouldn't did he say that about the kid? Oh God. That's what sometimes when I watch see some podcasts and there's a bunch of fucking 20-somethings on there, and I just listen to them talk, and I'm like, Jesus, I'm not categorizing all like in a fuddy-duddy my generation. I'm just saying sometimes I listen to them talk because of all the fucking brainwashing they've been through, and it's fucking just wears you down, makes you ill. Can't listen to this nonsensical. You've got nothing to say that's not like a fucking soundbite out of the TV.
I reckon that's actually
That's
what
right.
long COVID is. It's just everything is exhausting now.
Mm.
It's just so frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's because there's a constant air of rubbish floating around, isn't there?
Well, there is, yeah, and there's also like things that people have done to you, and you have to just either ignore them or try and find a way to forgive without them understanding what happened. It's very frustrating. Like I'm focusing very much on family at the moment, but none of my family is like me. So
Yeah,
I
right.
just have to ignore all of that. And, you've got stuff coming out now. You've got scientific studies coming out about the vaccines and stuff. They're getting as many fucking doses as they can. I know it's dangerous now. The facts are easy to find. But yeah, their health is suffering. I have to watch it. It's like really hard to know what to do. Because
Mate, I can imagine. I've felt empathy for people who are going because I don't. People go, "Did you get hassled by friends?" No, I didn't. I don't have a workplace. I'm not in the country where my fucking family is, and my family's not that close anyway. And then I don't have girlfriends, families, so I'm not dealing with that.
Mm. Yeah,
it's almost like what I forgot his name. He's a fella. He goes an intellectual English fella. Douglas Murray.
Mm.
And I thought of this years ago too, when my girlfriend was a social worker, this Scottish chick I went out with. As he says, he goes, "I'm an author. I do this, and I deal with my publisher and some fucking whatever comment sections I have to deal with." He goes, "But I don't have a job like in this." He goes, "So they're the people on the front lines." And that's what I thought years ago when I had a social worker girlfriend in Scotland, and suddenly it was like, oh, no one can have pictures of their family on their desk in the office, or no one can have wear a crucifix in case the Muslims get upset. And I thought, see, these people are actually in these environments. Even some of the guys I know now, one guy told me the other day, he just delivers stuff to work sites. He had to watch a 3-hour health and safety video to go and dump some stuff out of the truck.
Mm.
See, so I just couldn't do that. I just have to go, well, I'm going then.
Yeah. I worked for Barra City Council when the pandemic was happening, and all of the, I was unvaccinated, all the vaccine mandates were coming in, and I was like, I'm just going to slowly walk backwards out of the building. Like I didn't get fired, but I voluntarily avoided it and, just moved on to the next thing because I knew where it was going. And it was actually probably the week after I left that the mandates came in and they started firing people who wouldn't get vaccinated. So, I mean, I wasn't pushed out, but I knew I wasn't welcome. Smart people.
Yeah. And, it's just smart to get out.
Mm.
Obviously, people have reasons, I mean, because here's the thing, they've got you in big fucking matrices of everything.
Yeah.
So people come at me, it's all right for you, Steve. You don't have a wife and 3 kids and a house and a mortgage and all that. Go, yeah, I know.
It shows that.
Right. Now, I'm not saying you all want to be me because there'll be no humans left. No one had kids. Good on you. You've done a noble thing, right? But do you understand that them trapping you in all these jobs that don't pay enough money, getting your women to go and get work so they can pay tax, giving you a mortgage, which is too much, but they're the ones that have access to the things that have got you in webs everywhere. Mm. So then, of course, you make decisions based upon what? Your survival, because they never let you quite live. Can I pay the bills? Now we're going to put the electricity up and everything. Why? In all this, after all that, you let energy companies just put it through the fucking roof under what guise? Or climate change. So now it's all just coming. All this stuff has been fermenting. The conspiracy theorists have been telling everybody about fucking 3 decades, 5 decades, right? Is now, well, here it is, fermenting, fucking coming to fucking birthing.
Yeah.
And so, of course, you go, oh, now you're making decisions based upon your own survival because your survival is connected to cash, connected to money because they've got you in the money system. So, so that's why at the moment they'll do things like they'll use climate change. So, because they know people will go, well, let's start growing our own vegetables or getting together in country towns and building things, and we'll get chickens, and we'll all do this, and we'll get water from the thing. Well, eventually they'll use climate change to go, well, you can't do that because you haven't got the right papers for whether or not that's so everything's fucking. So that's the difficult part when people make decisions. They come back, they have to have an excuse for themselves about why they make the decision. a rational one, like a junkie can do that. That's why he got back on the drugs. It's valid to them, even though the decision could be very fucking dangerous.
Mm.
But the other decision is what? Well, their life, their starvation, their fucking. That's why the whole fucking COVID bullshit. What does it really play on? Man's biggest fear, his own fucking mortality.
Oh, the invisible enemy.
Right. So then you've got what? Well, that crosses borders, cultures, traditions, language. Right. It's the ancient fucking archetypical fucking, to use a crude description. It's almost like sitting in there. What, you can push it, like that button, that fear of death. Which is also why in the West they constantly, because it's interesting, South Americans, Mexicans, they seem to have these reverence for death, which can look bad in the sense of fucking gangs and shooting and chaos, and they can't. But those rituals that they have, people say they're obsessed with death. I think, well, but isn't death probably the biggest profound thing that's ever going to happen to you besides life?
It's worth worrying about.
Yeah, it's worth investigating, perhaps.
Yeah.
And ironically, not trying to continually avoid. It's not saying you'd be reckless and fucking don't have any self-preservation, but continually avoid a total inevitability.
I don't know. I think you should be reckless because then you
but
prove
you
that
know what I'm saying. No, I mean you should be adventurous, but I mean not just reckless because you think you're this thing can be. But like
yourself. Not like Steve-O reckless. Not you, Steve. I mean Steve-O from Jackass. Sorry, that's a weird reference.
Shopping trolley down a mountain.
I'll just see what happens if I set myself on fire. Maybe that'll make my life better. Oh no, it didn't. It just burned me to a crisp. What do you know?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'll see what happens when I set myself on fire. Someone should have said to him, before you set yourself on fire, let me tell you what will happen.
Yeah. And if I'm right, next time you have an idea, run it by me and I'll tell you what I think.
Run it by me. Because I can tell you what's going to happen if you set yourself on fire. Bad news.
Yeah, no, it's not good. Not that I've tried it.
So have I.
Why do you suppose we're so why have we started listening to these ineffectual humans? Like Greta Thunberg was 16 years old, school dropout, and everyone's like, oh no, listen to her, she knows what she's talking about. Now there's Joe Biden, a doddering old fool that can't remember where he left his fucking pants. But still everyone's paying attention.
It's very strange. I know it's funny. Me and you notice a lot of the same things. I'm like, which part? Because obviously America's being destroyed and infiltrated by outside forces who we won't name. And then, but when would America ever feel good about itself by having this guy with a shoe in one hand and a piece of cake in the other, wandering and tripping out of a helicopter? When America would have gone, we got to get rid of this guy.
I can tell Biden is senile because he's not an asshole anymore. Like he used to be like a real asshole, like an awful person. And now he's forgotten to do that. And he's just like a buddy up on the stage, walking around in circles.
It's worked out. It's worked out good for him. It's worked out.
He's still doing nefarious shit though, because other people are dictating like his policies and crap. So he's now just a puppet.
Hilarious.
Is it just that everyone looks at him and sees their grandfather, and it's like, oh, Gramps.
Yeah, Gramps used to pat me on the ass occasionally.
Yeah.
Hey, falling asleep in the chair after Christmas lunch with a fucking Yorkshire pudding on your lap. Hey.
Oh, the
Gramps.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I mean, he can't physically do it.
Yeah, well, it's hilarious. It's like it's a huge pantomime. It's fucking. You're right to say I'll sit and observe it. Then then they push Nancy Pelosi out there looking like that wicked witch from the Wizard of Oz in a fucking 1930s ball gown.
Can't even point her eyes in the same direction at the same time.
It's just out of control. It's just hilarious. Like, and then maybe you get some Scud missiles and get a transsexual school anyway.
Then you bring
There's
Kamala
the American
Harris
Army in high heels. It's
Kamala
a complete fucking.
yeah, that's fucking. Did you hear about? There's a guy that he's like bald and wears lipstick, and he was head of like waste management. So, like he was a big deal in the government. He got busted for stealing people's luggage.
What? What are you talking about? I
And
haven't heard about this.
One of the dudes that was like held up as like, we're so super progressive. This is the guy. He's going to be like in charge of nuclear waste management or something. Some big fucking deal. So he's got a good job, you know, he's got a good income. But this guy, like, and he's all over his Instagram is like his like leather fetishes and all this kind of stuff. And he was going to the airport and just stealing people's luggage. And apparently he was like put on his Instagram, him in a dress, like he's wearing a dress. And this woman came along and saw his Instagram and said, "That's my dress." So is that one and that one and that one. And that's how we got busted. It was bizarre.
Well, criminals aren't too fucking smart these days either. Here, I made a film about what I stole from that.
Oh man.
No, I don't think that
Oh, yeah,
necessarily makes you a bad politician, though.
I think you're right to sit back and fucking like George Carlin said and watch, because it's fucking pantomime.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a fucking pantomime. You know, I've got a fucking there's people still standing behind perspex things. Hi, and it's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on with you fucking people? I mean, but you know, we are frustrated with the way people fell into it, but you know, we all really know at the bottom of our heart, mainstream's always falling into stuff. I've always known that. They listen to shit music. Talking about it before in Oxfam, they all go and watch football. As a kid, I used to go, "Do you all like football? How come when I watch it, nothing happens?" They all went. They all went. They go, "Oh, thousands of them." And I used to go, "I miss them." Did they all like
every
it?
week to the football? And I was dragged when I was a kid, and I used to eat a meat pie and fall asleep and not watch the game.
So funny you say that. My mate took me to the football once, fell asleep.
Yeah, I mean, I fall asleep in action scenes in movies sometimes as well if they're boring enough.
Yeah. It's like, you know, I have more respect for sport now. I've watched fucking, you know, I watch the soccer highlights for 5 minutes at the end of the news if I'm sitting in someone's lounge room. That's impressive. Why? I'm impressed watching a guy kick a ball 5,000 meters down a fucking thing and put it. Okay, but I don't watch the whole hour and a half.
Yeah. Well, try cricket, mate. I mean, fucking hell. Who watches cricket for the whole duration? What for? Why do you watch it live? Just watch it. Just look at the score the next day. It's the same score. Nothing's changed in your life.
This is funny watching. It's just funny watching you two. I can see you just talking and him go right. two worlds going on. Right? There we go.
Yeah, we're directly opposite each other, by the way. You probably can't work out the geography.
I used to have things to do before I met Scott Horn, and then I'd meet him, we get on here, and then next minute we go, "Fuck, that's be 14 hours."
You're doing a public service, I tell you. There's a lot of people getting a lot of value out of these videos.
I've had some long conversations, but some bloke from Melbourne who does a bit of comedy. I think he likes my comedy. He contacted me at the beginning of the pandemic once. It's a few messages. And one day he said, "Oh, if you ring if you want." Then he rang. I talked to him for 7 hours.
Wow.
So he was like, "Fuck me dead." I've had a few of those. I talked to my mate in Sydney once. It was like 6.5 hours. Something didn't even notice. Like, fucking hell.
Yeah, I've had some really long phone calls and conversations just off the podcast. Just people, email. Yeah, you get on phone. Calls and it's crazy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we'll all get together and go and watch 3 days of cricket.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Go to a test match.
How's that? Just about I caught you out. How's that? In fact, my geezer mate here the other day, he was looking at this song, Daryl Braithwaite solo, and he went, "Do you know this guy?" And I just went, "Yeah, that's Daryl Braithwaite, singer of Sherbet." He went, "What's sherbet?" I went, "Band from the 70s, Australia." I go, "How's that?" He went, "Oh," he put it on, and he went, "Oh, this song." Something he's playing. They've heard that one. Cricket reference in a pop song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How Australian's that?
That's
Cricket reference.
that's a tough subject to make a pop song out of. Cricket.
Is it about what? I don't even know what the song's about. It's probably about a fucking girl or
I
something.
think it's cheating or something, but
I thought it
don't
was
know.
about drugs. Was it? I don't know. I'm just.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it's about.
How's that?
How's that?
All right, boys. Let's do it. This is fun. It's good to see you again, Scott. I like the jacket.
Hey, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm trying to spiff it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I
figured.
think a bow tie might help, but yeah, jacket's nice.
This is the shirt I got in Thailand. Had it made. It's kind of fun to have some clothes made. I've never had it before.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
This is
I had something made once.
So that's effort for me, though.
Yeah.
It's got sleeves. Look.
This is a T-shirt from an independent fucking Irish record label.
Oh, sweet.
Heathen Resistance. Flagged. All right, boys. Beautiful.
Fantastic to
Sweet as,
meet you, Steve.
Thanks
Talk
for
to you
coming
soon.
on
When
again.
I get into this place up in where I'm going, I'll probably at the moment I'm off grid when I get there, but I'm moving to another place. I'll probably be on there. Then we can get together again.
Fantastic.